The hardline Freedom Caucus now appears to be softening up on Paul Ryan. A supermajority of its members is now supporting the head of the Ways and Means Committee to become the next Speaker of the House, though he did not earn their formal endorsement last night. Congressman Raul Labrador, a co-founder of the Freedom Caucus, issued this statement, quote, "There is consensus that we need to move forward because it's time for the conference," he's referring to the Republican conference, "to unite." He must have been listening when Paul Ryan had this to say earlier in the week.
This is a very dire moment, not just for Congress, not just for the Republican Party, but for our country. And if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve. But we need to do this as a team. And it needs to include fixes that ensure that we do not experience constant leadership challenges and crises.
Richard St. Paul, let me start with you.
Of course.
Okay. If Paul Ryan becomes the next Speaker of the House, is the House more functional than it was under John Boehner? Can he actually herd these cats and make the House run?
Well, first of all, I don't think John Boehner was dysfunctional. I mean, stuff happened.
Would you like to take a vote on that?
No, but think about it. John Boehner saved the government from shutting down several times by making deals.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think Boehner was dysfunctional at all.
Well, if you were a member of the Republican caucus, they chased him out with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, but he wasn't. It wasn't dysfunctional. It wasn't dysfunctional. I mean, things that had to happen.
What would you call it if not dysfunctional?
That would mean the caucus is dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Well, the caucus is dysfunctional because Boehner couldn't get the right wing on board.
Sitting speaker. That is the definition.
First of all, he stepped down, and they threatened to bring a vote to oust him, which didn't happen. Now, Paul Ryan, I saw that and said, listen, if I'm going to be speaker, I need to spend more time with my family. I need you to support me, the conservatives to support me, and you can't bring a vote to vacate the chairmanship. So he's coming in this with a consensus, and that's very smart because there's a famous saying that the way you come into office is the way you go out. So if you come in controversy, then you go out in controversy. If he comes in with unity, then certainly I think he goes out.
It's going to last 2 weeks.
All right.
Maybe, and the real issue here is
weeks.
Whether he has a deal with these crazy people to let Boehner do the debt ceiling increase, maybe a 2-year budget, and get the things that would shut the government off his plate before he becomes speaker. That would have been smart. And I don't think anybody knows the answer to that. In other words, if he comes in not having to force the hard votes, he could survive for a while as a sort of a unifying figure. But these guys are nutty, and it's going to come back to haunt.
Do you think he actually gets the far right, the Freedom Caucus, to play nice?
No. What?
Look, you could minimize and marginalize 40 people in a party. I mean, come on.
Not if you want. Not if you want to get to 218.
There are 435 members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans.
If 40 of them go nuts, look. If they have to raise the debt ceiling with Democratic votes, and Paul Ryan is presiding, the stuff is going to hit the fan.
This was what Boehner did. Boehner did it with Democratic
votes.
But
he didn't.
But he did the right thing.
He didn't, because the deal that eventually didn't happen that led to the government shutdown, Boehner went to the White House, worked out a deal with Obama, went back to the House, and the 40 House members or so were the ones who turned that deal down.
Obama went back and said, I need more. After they had a deal, Obama went back and said, I need more money. That is what happened. And that's why Boehner was very upset.
Killed Vince Foster.
Yeah.
Benghazi is a crime, and Obama broke his
Google it. It's out there.
Oh,
that's what happened.
It's on the internet.
Dominic, is there any reason for optimism in terms of a more functional Washington if Paul Ryan is the speaker?
Let me clear my throat to try and figure out the best way to say it.
You're having a hard time. You're choking on that thought.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to figure out a way to issue an olive branch to the new incoming speaker to give him some hope. As Jesse would say, keep hope alive. There is no hope in this deal. I concur with the assessment that's already been made. Maybe 2 weeks. He may be able to keep Paul Ryan, may be able to keep the Band-Aid on for a few weeks. But those nut jobs, when they start making the outrageous demands and bring back up the Planned Parenthoods and the debt limit, you know what I'm trying to say
that
here.
one too.
With that one too. When you start going through all of that, and he's got to go to Obama and say, and Obama says, well, we can do this, but I'm not doing that. And the new speaker's got to take it back to these nuts. It's not going to work.
By the way, those nuts are nuts.
Nuts.
In some ways, but they're also making it clear that the problem in those districts, if they don't toe an extremist line, they get a primary.
Yep.
And this is a democracy in some bizarre way. Remember, 2 million or 1.2 million more people voted Democratic for House members than voted for Republicans. The state gerrymandering of this stuff is really what's at the
Richard
root
St.
of
Paul,
it.
I sense some disagreement coming from
Oh,
this.
and let's not forget what has happened here. That Republicans have taken over the House first, and now have taken over the Senate. So these nuts and wackos that you call are representing the American people who are not happy with the way the Democrats ran Washington.
But to be
so
fair,
let's not forget that.
To be fair, we're talking about a subset of that group. We're not talking about all of the Republicans in Congress. It's a small 40
No,
men,
Roski's talking about every Republican.
40
you can think
member
of.
group. No, the dysfunctional group of the Freedom
He's right.
Caucus.
Yes, I know.
Don't help me. Stop helping me.
Why does,
See?
why does Paul Ryan want this job? Do you think he actually does want this job? And doesn't this hurt his long-term chances for
Absolutely.
his own career?
When's the last time a Speaker of the House became President of the United States?
I think
I can
don't
tell
think
you
so.
the last member of the House to become president.
Gerald Ford was a member of the House.
very nice.
Not when he became president. He was vice president.
Right.
Who was the last
Sitting member of the
sitting
House?
member of the House to become president?
I don't know.
James A. Garfield in 1880 something.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
That's tremendous.
So-
and what was he like when you met him?
James and I would sit and talk, and I'd say, James,
Before he died.
that's right.
Before he was assassinated.
Do you think Paul Ryan, does this hurt his life? He wants to be president. He ran for vice president 4 years ago. Does this hurt his chances?
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. But Mr. Ryan, I mean, he's a young, good-looking guy. You know, he plays to the base. So he might be a serious candidate. But when they're done, what I ask you, what was the one single thing for the most part that got Obama elected?
It was the war in Iraq, I would say, and
Okay,
reaction
but
to
then
it.
but they also didn't have a record to hang around his neck,
Right.
and go after him. Paul Ryan basically had that too. That all changes now. He's going to have a record. And any candidate against him is going to say, look at what this speaker at the extreme, I'm not going to use
If
the word
he
nut
compromises, he's toast. If he doesn't
And you
compromise,
have
the
to
government
compromise.
stops and
You
he's
have to,
toast.
absolutely.
But
You have to compromise.
the Republican conference does not want compromise on the debt ceiling. They don't want compromise on Planned Parenthood. They don't want compromise on the government shutdown.
Well, the compromise will be that the government won't shut down because it only serves to hurt Republicans. And if you can't attach an amendment to stop funding Planned Parenthood to it, then that's not
If
going
he
to happen because the
passes-
government is going to
If he
continue to
passes a
operate.
budget or a debt ceiling increase with Democratic votes, he's finished.
Do you think we get a debt limit increase without this coming down to another deadline
You
push?
have to.
You
Otherwise,
must
the
to pay the bill.
state
No,
can't
I
pay
know,
the bill.
but
The-
we've heard this before and still had last minute,
Oh,
day of voting.
That goes back to the Boehner question. Will Boehner be able to structure a debt ceiling deal, a budget deal, and a Planned Parenthood deal before he exits office?
Yeah,
If
the
he-
other thing is Republicans now need a strategy and what they're going to be able to push forward as an agenda, pass the House, pass the Senate, and have the president sign. And that may not happen under this particular president, but the Republicans in Congress need a strategy that they need to lay out to the voters.
Final question on this, and I think I already know the answer, but does this mess from House Republicans at all hurt their chances of keeping the majority after next year's election, Richard Brodsky?
No. Their performance plus Donald Trump means they're going to be there forever. Irony.
So you're saying
sarcasm.
no. You're saying no,
No,
by
sarcasm.
saying yes.
Sarcasm.
Dominic Carter?
Of course, because the American people are tired. And it may help them in their districts a little bit, but folks are tired at what's going on.
Richard St. Paul?
No, it doesn't hurt them.
The answer is no, because the districts are so gerrymandered, they're going to win the majority anyway.
That's true. But there are swing districts. That's how they,
Yeah,
There's
there's like 11 of them.
All right,
now.
they're small. Exactly right. That's how they got the majority.
All right, we'll take our next break. And after that break, Donald Trump remains in the lead nationally, but he's now trailing big time in one of the places that matters most. Is Donald Trump hitting a big bump in the road?